comment. One of its first segments included an opponent of Bahraini Sunni rulers sparking criticism in pro-government Bahraini daily Akhbar al-Khalij. The newspaper said it learned that Al-Arab was stopped for not adhering to the norms prevalent in Gulf countries. Al-Arab entered a crowded field that includes the first regional broadcast, which is subsidized by Qatar. It also is a rival for Dubai-based Al-Arabiya, established in 2003 and owned by Saudi Sheikh Walid Al Ibrahim. Critics have accused the established broadcasters of reflecting their own political views, especially during the 2011 Arab Spring uprisings against regimes in the Middle East and North Africa. What is the significance of such a move, especially as we've seen already complaints by many countries about the coverage of the media related to issues related to the Arab Spring?
Well, actually, it's very important to promote the media these days, and actually, media is the real war now is the media war, because you can simply brainwash any citizens in any country by just saying what's going on, even if it's not the real truth. So it's now all the media channels are controlled by business people who have their own agendas, who have their own views, and they put their own views and their own agendas to these channels, which are described to the audience. So this is happening in Egypt and happening in the Gulf, and of course what happened with Al Jazeera is a very good example. So you cannot ignore anything happens now in this tricky timing regarding the media and the channel, because you don't know exactly what will be the direction for this channel or for this businessman who will lead to a specific point of view to be somehow thrown to people in his own channel.
Indeed. Maha, going to the Global Post, we have a headline: Tunisian Prime Minister announces coalition cabinet with Islamists. The Tunisian Prime presented a new coalition government, with the cabinet dominated by the secular Nada Tunis party, but also including members from the Islamist rivals. Prime Minister-designate Habib Assid's new cabinet faced a threat of rejection in parliament last week from key parties, including Ennahda, because they oppose his choice of ministers. The Prime Minister had announced a government without any cabinet posts for moderate Islamists. Despite tensions and a political crisis that almost ended its transition, Tunisian politics has been dominated by compromises between secular and Islamist leaders to help keep the North African country on track. How do you think this government bolsters stability in Tunisia, which is just emerging from its transition to a full democracy for years?
Well, I guess Tunisia has made a compromise which could lead to
I believe we are having some technical difficulties. We've lost your voice, but we'll try and get you right back on the telephone to continue your analysis of the latest news and headlines. And we move on till we're rejoined by Maha. Let's go to the World Bulletin. And U.S. military aid to Ukraine would be a dangerous move. This is according to experts. In the headline, Washington is once again mulling military support after fierce offensives by Kremlin-backed rebels, but experts fear to only justify Russian conspiracy theories and drive East and West closer to full-blown war. The recent rebel attacks across key parts of the front line in eastern Ukraine may have been timed precisely out of fear the U.S. could soon get involved. The White House is once again under pressure to up its involvement in the 10-month-old Ukraine conflict as ceasefire talks collapse and casualties soar. We're rejoined by Maha Abdel Nasser, our political analyst. Maha, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Right. Just before we move to the U.S.
We were talking about Tunisia. Yes. I was saying that Tunisia a bit different, and even the Islamists in Tunisia is more moderate than the Islamists here, because or any other country, because actually Tunisia has been a secular country for decades, which didn't happen in Egypt, for instance.
Yes.
So it could actually coalition governments, if they worked in a good way, in good harmony, they could lead to a real political reform and democratic reform in Tunisia. So it's that people have to understand that it's really different. The percentage of education in Tunisia is different, the Islamic data are different, so we cannot just copy and paste what's going there.
Indeed. Right. Maha, to the World Bulletin, I was just reading that the U.S. military aid to Ukraine will be a dangerous move. According to the experts, and Washington is annulling military support to Ukraine after fierce offensives by Kremlin-backed rebels, but experts fear it will only justify theories and drive east and west closer to full-blown war. Now it's a 10-month-old conflict now in Ukraine. Lots of ceasefire talks have collapsed and the casualties are soaring. What is the risk of further involving the United States? Do you think it could worsen the Ukrainian conflict?
I don't think that it's right for the U.S. to get into any conflicts, and all these movements have proven through history that they were not right, and they actually made somehow the confrontation there more complicated, and sometimes some other countries get to interfere. So I don't think that U.S. interfering in any local conflict is the right move.
Right, let's go to the Independent, and the headline reads, Spanish parties strike back against jihadism. Spain's leading political party signed a rare pact to fight extreme new anti-jihadist laws in the wake of last month's deadly attacks in Paris. The bill proposes to toughen penalties for terrorism offences and give judges and police new powers to prosecute lone wolf radicals and those who join armed groups in war zones such as Syria. Conservative Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition Socialist Party signed the joint reform bill, which will now go to Parliament for approval. What is the significance of such a move, especially regarding the international fight against terrorism, in your opinion?
Well, actually, I guess it's a necessary move, if we can say so, because the fundamentalists are increasing in the numbers in all different states, and actually no way that countries can continue like that. So I guess what's been did and could be done in other countries, and it's just a need. It's a necessity now with all what's going on around the world.
Indeed, and what is the importance to legalize such moves? And for example, now this is a bill, it will go to Parliament, and if approved, it will become a law. How important is this?
It's important, of course, to be legalized, because you cannot just take a decision and do the consequent actions without doing the legalization. And if you go with such a suggestion into the Parliament, so you get the consensus on that. So all the people elected, people who represent the citizens in the country, they are having consensus on doing what is needed to be done.
Indeed. Right, Maha, finally let's go to the New York Times, and the headline reads, Nigeria claims Gamburu, 4 other towns recaptured from Boko Haram. Nigeria said it had retaken Gamburu and 4 other towns held by Boko Haram following a joint weekend offensive by its military, civilian vigilantes and forces from neighboring Chad and Cameroon. The towns in northeast Borno State were retaken over the weekend, where Chad had carried out 3 days of airstrikes. As government forces are holding off Boko Haram, the air in Chad was pounding the militants' positions in Gamburu, a town on Nigeria's border with Cameroon, 140 kilometers to the northeast. How important is this to illustrate the situation in Nigeria, especially with the militants Boko Haram losing some ground in the country?
Well, it's very good news that they are really losing some ground in the country, because what they are doing awful things to children, to women, and a lot of abuse. And actually, if U.S. want to get into confrontation, this place that needs real confrontation, not from just U.S., but could be from all of the UN countries, and so they are doing crimes against humanity. But let's hope that the local Nigerians are capable of going into this confrontation and gaining some grounds against Boko Haram.
Indeed. Moha Abdel Nasser, our political analyst, I'd like to thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us this afternoon on this edition of The World Today. Many thanks. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we wrap up this edition of The World Today. Many thanks for joining us, and I'm Angie Meher signing off.